Hello, dear apprentice, and welcome back to the studio. This is our practical magical craft section for the week, and it's going to be our last ritual that we're going to be doing together before we wrap this beautiful season together. And what a beautiful journey this has been up until now. But before we get into any of this, let's get this flame of peace, hope and love for 2026 going. And there we have it. May all beings benefit, right? Beautiful. Right, so today our beautiful ritual prompt is to create a sacred altar space. Now I know this sounds complicated and it sounds like you need a lot of things. But it doesn't have to be complicated and you don't need a lot of things. Really, what an altar is, it is just a space where you connect with the sacred self, and just to remember every time you look at the altar what the intention is around that space that you set aside for a ritual or for your faith, or just to ground yourself spiritually every day. In fact, I have altars all over my house. Every little assembly of things can be an altar if you want it to be. So really, my whole life is a living altar, if you want to think of it like that. But where do we start? Well, I personally believe you can approach this topic from a multitude of angles. You can begin with a deity or your faith, if that is where you want to center everything around. That's always a good place to start. Or you could start with the elements, and the elements is a beautiful way to just recognize that these primary elements is what makes everything real in our world. Everything is made up of these elements. So let's begin by honoring the elements on our altars, and that's already a great place to start. Now you can use whatever space and objects you have to your availability for this exercise, but I do require of you to take a photograph and to share it with me so that I can see you got this exercise and this is how you are implementing it and using it in your life, right? So I've brought two examples here before I'm going to build an altar for you on my table today. And the first is an altar that you see in every single video. This is a little altar all on its own. I've got here Mother Tara, and I've also got Amitabha Buddha, and I've got a number of crystals and stones on a beautiful porcelain plate. So it can be as simple as that, a beautiful small little thing that can just bring groundedness and focus to your beautiful intentions. And there you have it. We have an altar, and this altar is here every time you watch one of my videos. So that grounds me in my own journey, and it just reminds me of my own principles and values, and that is why it's always here reminding me of that. So that is a very powerful little altar. So it doesn't have to be a temple, it doesn't have to be thousands and thousands of rands. You can obviously work with whatever you have. Sorry, my OCD is activated and I'm pulling everything closer because it feels so vacant here in front of me. But it's going to be filled shortly. I've got another example in one of my retreats that I offered a few years back. We did a beautiful craft project called a temple in a pocket, or a shrine in a pocket. And we went on this beautiful quest before the retreat to find these little metal tins for everyone. And I had a selection of that, and everybody brought some knickknacks and also maybe a little statue that would resonate with their faith. Whether you're a Catholic, Christian, a Buddhist, it doesn't really matter. Whatever you resonated with, that's what you would bring. And we basically told everyone to have them in these kind of sizes that would fit inside a beautiful tin, so that you can make a pocket shrine. And then with a little bit of Mod Podge and a lot of creativity, we each created and painted our own little pocket shrine. And this is also another way to have an altar. You can literally build an altar for yourself inside a beautiful tin that you can then carry around with you, especially if you travel a lot. So that is one way that you can go about this. And then I just had beautiful printed images of a variety of faiths for that particular retreat, so that there would be something for everyone that they resonate with. So this is my little pocket shrine that I created for that particular retreat, and I found this beautiful little, I think it's made of casting, what do you call that? Mold, that stuff that they put around your leg when it's broken. Can't remember the word now. So it's really lightweight, and then I inlaid beautiful little rhinestones of amethyst. I even put together here 3 little wooden beads so that I could put a little stick of incense in there, like so. And then when you open your little shrine, I could make it stand like this. I'm just going to lean it against that so that you guys can see. You can burn your incense, you can burn a little candle in front of it, and you can have your moment. You can meditate, you can pray, you can focus inward, be mindful, whatever the case may be. And then when you are done, you simply just knock out the ash. You close your little pocket shrine, you put it away, and you carry on with your travels. Isn't that just so beautiful? Definitely a project that we should tackle one day in the near future. So I'm just going to put that to the side. So that's just 2 examples of an altar space that doesn't necessarily take up a lot of space and need a lot of things. It can be as simple as that. So what I've got here for you guys today is I've brought a tray. A tray is just a wonderful way to contain your space, especially if you are limited in space that you can use, or if you maybe need to quickly move this out of the way. Maybe you use your coffee table for your tray altar, or on a cabinet in your dining room, even on your kitchen table, bedside table, wherever you have a little bit of space where a little tray can fit. That is where I will start, and I'm going to encourage you to try it because it's a lot of fun. So this is something that you can change up the whole time, depending on the season, your focus, your needs, and where you are at that present moment in time. So I've had so many different altar setups on this little tray in my life. So it really is just something that's constantly evolving, because as the moon shifts, as the seasons change, and as the focus evolves, so your altar can reflect that. So an altar doesn't have to be a static place that you rarely visit, or maybe just go there every day to light a piece of incense. It should rather be a space where you can revisit intention that you have set for a particular period of time, maybe in your life. And that's what we are going to be doing today. So I've just sort of collected a few things all over my home that I thought would be nice to add to this beautiful altar space as a demonstration for you today. And then at the end of this assembly of this beautiful altar, I'm just going to set some intention and show you how I use my altars as a living spiritual space. Now, the first thing that I would like to share with you guys is the directions. So it doesn't have to face the directions that I'm going to be sharing with you now. It can face any direction, but for the sake of reality, this becomes your north, south, east, and west, and those directions connect with the elements. So the north is our beautiful earth element, and it connects with the color green. So I've decided to bring a feather into this space, and this is going to be north, south, east, and west. Okay, so this is going to help you visualize the elements that go along with this beautiful altar. So then in the south we've got fire, and for that we're going to use the color red. And then in the west we've got our water element, and here we're going to use the color blue. And in the east is the element of air. Now I'm dyslexic, so I tend to turn these things around, and it's really hard for me to remember. While I was preparing for today's class, I looked at the directions again, and that's why I keep staring here. It's just to make sure that I don't turn it around in my mind again for the millionth time. And then I figured it out. Water and west both starts with a W. So now that is set in my mind, because I know the north is green, the south is fire is red, the west is water, and the east is air. And that way I've now engraved it in my mind so that I'm always aware of the elements, the direction, and the color that is associated with that direction. So you don't always have to use it like this, but today I think it's a good teachable moment to just bring some of these elements together in a way that you might not have seen used before, right? Okay. So I always like to sort of start an altar with an intention, because why are we constructing an altar? Why are we erecting this space? Is it for worship? Is it for remembrance? Is it to honor an ancestor? Or is it to focus energy on an intention, almost like a spell or a prayer or a wish or a desire of your heart? It doesn't really matter either way. So what I think is a good thing to do is just to have a little piece of paper, and then just take a pen and maybe just write an intention before we continue, because I want to place that under this beautiful little piece of paper here, so that that anchors my whole altar. So it can really be as relevant as what is the purpose of your altar. I'm just going to borrow this to write on. And on that, I like to draw all of my power symbols, any sigils that I like to add to empower this. And this is now my wish and prayer for this altar. And I'm going to place it here in the center underneath my tablecloth. There we go. So for me, that anchors this beautiful intention. And we can continue now to select objects like correspondences in a spell to represent in physical form that desire and balance between the elements. So the first thing I like to add is my beautiful little Buddha statue in the north, which is all about earth. Now this is earthware. This is a baked earthenware Buddha, so that already has an earth element for me. But I also like to bring in other things that talk about that earth, and I'm just going to use some fluorite here as a crystal. It also is an earth object, but fluorite also connects with the water element, so I'm going to put it on the left to connect with the water. Then I'm going to jump to the south. The south is all about fire, so this is where I will place a candle. Then I'm going to look at the east. which is all about water. So I'm going to have a container of water here. Sorry, the water is on this side. Water waste. I'm going to have a little bowl here so that I can pour some water in there later. And then I also have air. And I will have another vessel with a burner for some incense, because that is going to represent the air element for me. I also have then just a beautiful mala that is also made of amethyst, and for me this is also an earth element that I will use here to just prettify, and it makes it an accessible altar that I can use daily to do mantras with, and to just, this is where I will do my gratitude and send forth my compassion for the world every day. In the center of my altar, I'm going to place the key. You also see this key in every video. Now for me, the key is always a symbol of you hold the key of your life. The key was for me a symbol of remembrance and awakening, and in that moment I realized I don't need a savior. I don't need somebody to come and help me. I'm not helpless. You hold the key for your life. So you are in charge of your life. You flow and arrive with a certain type of energy every day. How are you going to show up? Is it aligned with your thoughts, your prayers, your wishes, your desires? Or are you showing up in a way that block all of these beautiful blessings in your life? You are the final gatekeeper of your life. So if it feels to you like life is not flowing, or it's not the blessing that you want it to be, then I would start there. Look at yourself as the receptor or the blocker of your flow. So the key for me always reminds me that you hold the key, no one else. So be mindful of your attitude, of your energy, and what you speak out into the world, because it certainly holds power. Then I also like to just bring in a beautiful element. For me, to have a pretty flower or some living element on my altar is always a way to remember that everything happens in time. Flowers don't just pop up. It is a whole process from seed to germination to growth, and then finally at the right point in life to bloom and to create fruit. This reminds me that everything in life is a process. It doesn't just pop up magically in your life, although sometimes I wish it would be instant like that. Like in the movies, it would be great to swing my wand and to instantly manifest everything that my heart desires. But I think there's a reason why things sometimes take time, because it prepares us to hold in ourselves, embody, in other words, what it is that we desire. Because it's no point pouring new wine into a leaking broken skin, right? That kind of thing. So sometimes the container or the vessel needs to be updated or upgraded or transformed in some way to hold a higher frequency and to step into that beautiful life that you desire. So this is all about transformation and transfiguration, and realizing that you are part of this entire process in the journey and art that we call your life, right? That is, I also have a little bit of my cauldron. I'm going to put it on this side of my altar because I like to burn bay leaves or affirmations. So it's always helpful to have a cauldron nearby so that you can immediately dispense of that close to the fire element. And then I also have my beautiful little divination kit that we made last week. And this now beautifully fits in this beautiful space. I'm going to put it here as well. in the sense of now there's a living altar that has tools on it that you've created yourself, beautiful sacred tools. You can use your anointing candle recipe here, and you can use your fragrance water over there. It really is all coming together beautifully. So when you have your divination tool on your altar, this is also a great space when you do your prayers and your presence for the day to just take hold of your divination cards and do a quick reading. Start working with the tool so that you can begin to familiarize yourself with it and really imbue it with your energy, and then it will become quite intuitive. So I think that is just beautiful. Right. So, last but not least, I've got here some sea salt. You can also start with the salt, but I forgot it was here. So it doesn't matter when you add some salt, but I would add some salt to my tray. Now I've got here some sea salt, which is a beautiful protector. And I'm just gonna sprinkle some sea salt all around. Again, it's a beautiful earth element that is going to protect this altar, its intention, and just hold a beautiful, clean, protective space for us. And think about the sea, the ocean that cleans and washes away all of our worries and concerns. So I'm asking the sea salt to hold the frequency for me of my intention that I've laid in this basket. And every day I'm going to speak my affirmations over this space while I burn beautiful incense and I use the elements in this space. So think of it like this. Like over the entire cosmos, there's a point where things come together here in your aura, in your chakra system, and you use the basic elements of the universe and you lay it all together and you bring it together in beautiful focus, alignment and harmony. I think that's quite powerful and quite a beautiful moment, a place where you can connect with the divine spirit within. And so, without any further ado, let's activate our beautiful altar. I'm gonna pour some beautiful water into this bowl, and this is some moon water that I've saved. Why do I like to have water on my altar? Besides the fact that it's part of the elements, water is programmable, very programmable. Water basically reflects the vibration of intention and encodes it within. There's an amazing documentary that you can watch of Dr. Yomoto, a Japanese professor that did an incredible body of work around the programmability of water, and that water holds memory, and that you can program and memorize information into water. So a great thing to do with your morning tea, for example, is to whisper your affirmations and to speak over the water and let that be present, because the water that you are speaking to now is going to remember everything, especially your intention and your frequency. So we speak beautiful affirmations and positivity into this water, and it becomes a living frequency of that, and it constantly emanates that into your environment. Let's light this fire. Beautiful. So with the fire element, this is creation energy, it's light, and this always reminds me that I am the light. And it's a beautiful place to practice your candle magic and spend some time meditating, reflecting and observing the energy that is available around you, because the flame will communicate that to you literally through its whole embodiment of energy. Is really visible. So if you spend a little bit of time with a candle especially in an environmental area that is controlled. So there's no drafts, there's no air conditioner blowing, there's no fans running. Then you spend a bit of time with that flame and it will begin to communicate your energy to you. It will mirror it in a way. So there's plenty of material out there for you to begin to look at the flame as a representation of your own energy. And then I will move on to the air element and I will activate it with the fire. And I'm using my own breath to activate that beautiful flow of the air element that is now visible through the fire, and now I can see what the air movement around me does. And even this flame and this smoke of this beautiful incense is something that is able to communicate with you by just observing what the smoke is doing. Beautiful. Now, as a final sort of action step, after I've read a beautiful affirmation over the waters and I've spent some time meditating and contemplating and just tuning into that frequency that I want to manifest, I like to use a bay leaf and just really focus my intention here by drawing my sigil or something the like on my bay leaf that corresponds with my intention for the day. And then I will take that, hold it with my tweezer, align myself with this frequency and give thanks for my blessings. Dear apprentice, thank you for journeying with me over the last 7 weeks. It has been truly transformational. I'm so glad that I finally started with this beautiful project, and I certainly am looking forward to the beautiful graduation ceremony. We have a group circle tomorrow. It's going to be our graduation ceremony, and I'm so excited that you came along for the journey. and I'm already excited about the next season. Please watch this space for that announcement. But don't take flight yet, because after our beautiful graduation ceremony tomorrow, every week on a Sunday, I will continue to share the Grimoire Sunday series, and that's usually where I share a little bit more things like making your own holy water and the likes. So I will see you guys tomorrow for the graduation ceremony. Remember that you need to submit at least 3 of your projects for me to see that you've attended and that you have participated, and then I will email you your beautiful certificate with your name and everything on it. So once I see your beautiful shared moments, I will also double check with you the spelling of your name, and then we will proceed to complete that beautiful ceremony tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to seeing you then. Thanks for tuning in. Stay true to yourself and be kind to one another. Bye bye for now.